everyone, I'm back with the legendary 75280 501st Legion Clone Troopers released in 2020 for 25 quid. This set has 285 pieces and is honestly one of the most popular LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. Essentially, the history of the set was that LEGO Star Wars fans were campaigning for a 501st Battle Pack, which is essentially what this thing is. They were campaigning for it because it was a highly desirable thing that fans wanted. It was backed by the YouTuber M&R Productions, and then it was finally made in LEGO form here in, previously in 2020, I should say. The set features two rather oversized builds that I will touch on independently, and then we will move on to the figures as normal. This thing is modelled from Clone Wars. We will be looking in the future at obviously the 20th anniversary rendition of this vehicle, which is depicted from Revenge of the Sith. They do have very slightly different styles. It's just mainly the shaping at the top here around the I guess the head of the walker is slightly different. But now this set is very oversized. We've seen how it scales to a minifig. I will bring in one of the 501st Clone Troopers again. Yeah, if you've actually seen Star Wars, this thing should only be about this tall in comparison to a figure. This thing is far too big, which I used to have a bit of an issue with, but I've actually grown to accept it. It's just a styling that LEGO goes for. They don't want to make these things too small. We can see some of the detailing. I will obviously go in depth with all of this and show you everything up close in detail, but yeah, it's just one of those things. LEGO acknowledges that this thing is oversized. Now, I have modded this Scout Walker in a fair few ways. For instance, the cannon on the bottom of the walker here used to be a stud shooter, and I thought that was quite ugly and detracted from the look. So I had this very nice brick built, very accurate laser cannon. I went to the cross sections, and yeah, it is very accurate and it is posable. The original cannon on the walker was posable as well. You can move it sort of, I guess, left and right a little bit here. You can see the wobble, and you can also move it up and down as well. It's a very posable cannon. Also, another thing I've modded, I might as well touch on this now. The original walker couldn't be able to turn the head, which was really disappointing for me. So I did replace the structure with a Technic axle that allows for the head to be rotated. Now, it is a tiny bit loose, but it is still strong. It will still display as you want, and the head isn't coming off. Into the posability of the legs now, because obviously this thing is a quote walker within Star Wars, so we should be able to expect to see some posability here. Now, the legs cannot move forward, unfortunately. They have these cheese grater pieces on the bottom here. They are stopped, but they can move back, and you can get some decent walking poses out of this thing like that, but the actual walker should really, I guess, have mixel joints to get some more of those fluid motions of the legs. If you watch Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi with the AT-ST, the walkers within Star Wars have very posable, fluid, almost like animalistic like legs in the way that they move. But yeah, essentially the legs will just move back. But you can get some decent posability. Now, going on to the stickers of this walker, we have one sticker on the legs on either side here, just to, I guess, sort of finish that fluid blue look. We also have a fair few stickers on the front of the cockpit here. This is sort of intended to be the main headlights on the front here with the I guess sort of the rod that goes down to the laser cannon. We have the 501st logo on the side. Now, this thing does have more stickers than its 20th anniversary counterpart, which could be a downside, but I think that most of the stickers in this set are a necessity. I think that if they were to remove one sticker, maybe it would be the legs, but you can sort of see without it, it would look a little bit bare. One final thing about the legs of this walker is they do use these dish pieces to represent the joints of the legs. Now, again, I am going to say the actual structural stability is better than the 20th anniversary version, but this larger dish piece here, this 1x3 dish piece, can quite easily come off. It is one of the most easily knocked off parts of this set, so just be aware of that. Taking a close-up at the feet, we can see they are quite nicely built. They use a lot of studs on the side construction to make these feet, but they are very, very nicely well built. We have very, very modern parts on the back here, the 2x4 tiles with the modified studs on the top. That's very, very new on the back here. We have a singular cheese grater piece here, and we have sort of the metal mechanical claws of this walker represented here in matte silver. They look very nice. Again, modern parts there with the modified 1x1 clip. Taking a more in-depth look at the head now, we see the antennas on the back here. ATRT does stand for all-terrain reconnaissance transport, and these can move backwards and forwards. They're just on a with hinge clips there. Now these, I guess, are just intended for display, very nice, and they are much, much better attached than their 20th anniversary counterparts. I remember that antenna from that set was very, very flimsy on top, which, yeah, is a better improvement with this. We see some grill detailing on the side, and we also see some sort of mechanical detailing on the bottom here, with these pieces here have been around for ages in LEGO, and they just have a 1x4 bar that runs across the bottom of the walker. And that's, I guess, just for like hydraulic simulation. They don't actually do anything, but it is a nice detail. We also see on the back here we have a pair of micro binoculars for our designated clone pilot, and a spare weapon clip for him as well. The pilot is only sat in with 2 studs, which is very, very nice, so when you go to pick him up, the legs don't separate, and I've just got a clone in here to fit in. He also does have that printed Star Wars console piece that's been around for a few years now, and a flight yoke, which is nice, so he can hold onto. Now, moving on to, again, the incredibly oversized BARC speeder of this set. It is a very, very simple build, and LEGO has been knocking speeder bikes out now for quite some time. I've been seeing a lot of speeder bikes recently within LEGO Star Wars, and I am happy to say this is one of the better ones they've done. When I say simple construction, this thing is literally just bricks on top of plates with very, very few, you know, studs on the bottom here. Incredibly simple structure. I have also modded this set. This thing did have stud shooters on the front. This is something LEGO does. I mean, they did it with the walker as well. They do this all the time. I just removed those to add these accurate cannons on the front, and I did that just by using some 1x3 bar pieces and some telescope pieces to make these accurate blasters. Also, this set here does have these very, very nice skids. They have 4 skids on the BARC speeder, and it does make the set look really, really cool. They are quite nice pieces to include. There are 4 stickers featured on this BARC speeder. We have 1 on the front here, just with a little blue part, and we also have 3 on the back here, which I think are very, very necessary to capture the overall BARC speeder's colour scheme. I think that these stickers are definitely, they do add to the model, they don't take away. This set does make use of less modern parts, but there's nothing wrong with that. I do like this very nice modern piece here on the front, representing the sort of the snout of the speeder. Now, going around to the driver's position, it uses a very nice slip piece here, and again we can see only 2 studs are used to actually attach your pilot. This is a very nice thing that LEGO keeps doing with this very modern part here. And it, again, as I've explained before, essentially allows your figure to not get separated. Now, I am going to sit him on, and as well, you can see here, yeah, this thing is very, very big for what it should be. He has 2 flight yokes here at the front, and they are quite loosely attached. It's just on a modified 1x2 clip there, and it's with a 1x3 bar going into these, again, very, very old LEGO pieces. It does look good, and I'm a very big fan of the way they've approached this. It doesn't look terribly out of proportion, but yeah, we'll get onto the whole oversized issue later, because it's not a big issue, but I do have a few things to say about it. You do have your clone's blaster clip there as well to clip his blaster, and we do have these secondary cannons on the back here, which are just minifig blasters. You can just pull these off and use these on a minifigure if you so wish. Getting into the first figure of this set, we have the 501st Clone Trooper. This guy was new for 2020 and is still exclusive to this set. All three standard clones are the same, only one has a very slightly different weapon, which I will show you. Now this guy does have wonderful printing throughout him, but there is a little bit of a problem. Now I talk about fluidity from head to toe with LEGO minifigs. Yeah, this guy, his waist piece is completely blank, as you can see there. Now I would expect the belt, which we can see the belt up here, to be printed on the waist, but that isn't the case here, leaving for quite a patchy look, and I don't really understand why LEGO did that, sorry, because they did also do it on the new ATTE with the 212th Troopers, and also the 187th Troopers in the TX130 set. They've just sort of left it blank, and it does look a little patchy. The leg print though is very, very nice, and we can see some toe printing there. Now this guy, in terms of his helmet, does use a new molded helmet for 2020 for the Phase 2 Clone Troopers. It is a bit more accurate. There is a much more pronounced bridge here at the front with the lower half of the visor, and it does look I mean, it does look exceptional. This is something they've really been trying to crack down on now, is their Clone Troopers, and they do look stunning. Note, this guy is based off Clone Wars. Again, this set is Clone Wars themed, not Revenge of the Sith. So if you're used to seeing 501st Clone Troopers, if this set was based off Revenge of the Sith, they would, well, it would be very, very good if they had dark blue blue printing instead of the standard LEGO blue, because obviously Revenge of the Sith, they are much darker in colour than this. But then again, this set is Clone Wars and it's absolutely fine and accurate. Yes, removing the helmet print now, we can see a new angry clone. LEGO is no longer making their classic LEGO angry clone face anymore. If you've been buying any of the recent LEGO Star Wars sets, because well, I know that LEGO has gained a lot of attraction in recent years, you've probably stumbled across this, but they've been using for things like stormtroopers just standard different human faces, which is very, very nice. And this guy has a brand new face print. Now, it is identical for all 4 clones in this set, and there is no alternate expression, but again, that's absolutely fine. It's not necessary. Now, the actual actor who plays all of the clones is from New Zealand, and the clones, if you watch the Star Wars movies, they're not white. So yeah, LEGO has this wonderful mixed race sort of coloured head, actual head, plastic colour, which does look a lot more accurate and a lot nicer, and I am happy that LEGO is using different colour face prints now. Getting in quickly to that different weapon, just one of these clone troopers does use a longer rifle. Now, I absolutely love this. This is a the elongated Star Wars blaster, but we have a candle piece in black here on the top that actually makes for a really nice barrel. It does look really, really nice and accurate, and yeah, it's far better than the old big Technic, the Technic pin they used to use, back in 2013. And the final figure of this set is the wonderful 501st Legion Jet Trooper. Now, this guy is based off Star Wars Battlefront 2 as well, which just even gets the points up higher. This guy is fantastic. He has different torso printing. The leg printing, I believe, is also slightly different as well, with that sort of black triangle coming down there is different to the other clones. But yeah, this guy just looks exceptional. He uses blue arms as opposed to the white arms of the other clones, and he has a different helmet print. The mold is still the same, just a print. Moving the jetpack and the helmet, we can see again the same face print, and on the back here we have some very nice back printing. Again, completely unnecessary by LEGO, but they did choose to include this. Now, the jetpack is a new molded colour. It's not a new mold, but it is a new colour for this classic jetpack piece. It is in this wonderful LEGO blue, which of course it's been seen on Boba Fett, Jango Fett, and Bo-Katan. This jetpack's been seen on a lot of minifigs, and it is a very nice new colour to get it in for 2020. Final 2 figures of this set, we just have 2 generic B1 battle droids. Now, I'm going to breeze over this guy because this is the most common LEGO Star Wars minifigure of all time. This guy has been in more sets than any other minifigure. He's existed since 1999 and has had only one upgrade to him over the years, which is that different hand, the actual arm, if you can see there, to hold his blaster. But that's the only change this guy's ever received, and this is not a new figure. If you know the B1, you know the B1. They're in tan, You can sort of move them, they have posability here, and they just use the medium Star Wars blaster. Yeah, I love this guy. You can never go wrong with a B1, but it would have been nice to see maybe some more exciting figures. That's it. That is the 501st Legion Clone Troopers set. And yeah, there is a bit of urgency with this one, because as of the recording of this video, as of November 2022, this thing is going to retire very, 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 very shortly. And for 25 quid, it's one of those investment things where I think you really, really should get this set. I mean, if you're a fan of prequel trilogy, it's Anakin's Clone Legion. I mean, come on, it's the boys in blue, you know, the boys. You can't go wrong with this set. Now, I do think the builds are oversized, but it doesn't bug me, particularly the Scout Walker. It doesn't bug me. It's still a very nice displayable model. Now, with Lego's Juggernauts that they do make the smaller walkers. They do exist, the more size accurate ones. So I think if I was the designer, I would restructure this set, and I would also make it more of an actual, I guess, inclusive battle pack, because they've just sort of tagged along these B1s. What I would have essentially done is had 2 of these smaller Scout Walkers that they make, because Lego does make them, and I would have got rid of the BARC speeder and had 2 STAP speeders for the CIS if I was going to make this more inclusive. But this is the way they've done it. I think it's completely fine. I think this set is definitely worth 25 quid. Obviously, in a 25 quid set, we usually have about 2 to 3 figures, with the vehicle sets at least, and we usually get 1 medium-sized smaller vehicle. This, you get 2 smaller vehicles that would make up the genuine piece count for a larger thing for a 25 quid set usually, but we get all of these figures. We get so many more figures than we usually get in a 25 quid set. And all of these clones are exclusive to this set as the recording of this video. Now that will most likely change, because we are rumoured to get a new 501st Battle Pack in January of 2023. But I mean, come on, these guys are so awesome. And I think that this set has been sold out more times than I can count. As of the rating of this set, I'm gonna give this thing a 8 out of 10. Now that is not bad. It's just, I don't know, it's the figures are awesome, but I think it just, particularly with the BARC speeder, I think it just needs to be a bit more appealing. I think, again, if we had this set maybe for 30 quid, had some more battle droids and some smaller vehicles, these smaller Scout Walkers and the STAP speeders, maybe you could give us Captain Rex in there as well, just something to spice it up. Now, part of me hates myself for not giving this thing a 10, but I honestly don't think it's, I mean, it is a legendary set, but it's just not that badass in my eyes. And I'm even going to go to the extent to say that this thing is very slightly overrated. It had a lot of hype with its release, and it definitely didn't disappoint as a set. I'm just not prepared to give it that 10. That said, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this video.